Well, back now to our coverage of the damage caused by Hurricane Laura. One day after the Category 4 storm hit, the death toll now stands at 14. That includes people killed by falling trees and 8 others who died from carbon monoxide poisoning due to unsafe operation of generators. There's a lack of essential resources along the coastline where hundreds of thousands of people evacuated. There's no power, no gas, and debris is littered all over the road. And with details on this extensive cleanup that is now set to begin, we're joined by former FEMA presidential appointee Mark Naveau to give us some insight on what this is all going to look like. Mark, thanks for joining us this evening. I can imagine this is just going to be a months-long cleanup process.
Yeah, good evening. The urban search and rescue teams that are out there searching all the debris have run across people that have actually stayed. They didn't evacuate. They're describing what they went through was like a science fiction movie. Because of the differentiation in the atmospheric pressure, they said their windows and doors were breathing back and forth. The toilets were flushing on their own. They could hear the wind at 140 miles per hour pick up debris and hit the side of their homes. So they went through something that even Hurricane Katrina did not have, which was a Category 3. This was a Category 4. So now they have to start the recovery, rebuilding process.
Okay, so tell us what that exactly looks like. There's a lack of resources, no power, no gas. What happens now?
Yeah, what they're doing initially is they're gridding off the most impacted area. That's Lake Charles. And they're sending urban search and rescue teams from all over the country in there to check for any survivors, to make sure there were people who stayed behind. There's hundreds of power trucks deployed down there to start restoring power in those areas. There are the FEMA supplies down there, the Salvation Army's serving thousands of meals. They've got inspectors down there taking a look at the damage. Really, the key is to try and raise those lifelines, which is power, telecommunication, water, sewer. Those are the things they're focusing on right now.
In terms of the financial assistance, that's what, a lot of families always think of. How can I get the money to rebuild? When does that come down the line?
That will be within days. And the nice part about it is FEMA has moved to an automated system where you used to have to go to what they call an assistance center. Now it can be done all online or through your mobile phone, disasterassistance.gov, and you can register, you can file your papers, you can start that process with electronic transfers now. Money goes through the banking system within a day or two versus the long period before. So that is going to start rolling out. But what they want to do right now is just make sure they can get that infrastructure built back up so people can start to rebuild their homes.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'm looking at these images here. I'm just struck by how widespread the damage is and the flooding. I've covered hurricanes before. I know it takes an immense amount of resources to kind of go in and go into the roads by boat to try and find survivors. Is that process still going on? And what do we think will happen once all of the water's receded?
Yeah, to your point, that's a very good one. With trees down, and most of the power lines in that area is above ground, so the poles are knocked down, the wires are live, so they're trying to clear the roadway. As the water starts to recede, that becomes a problem because it's not just your typical water. It's got hazardous materials, wildlife, things like that are displaced. So they've got tanks, propane tanks, they're uprooted, and they go with the flow of the water. So there's a lot of hazards still involved in trying to get through there. They need to open the streets before they can do much else, so you're going to see an awful lot of that going on. Tremendous amount of activity by a lot of different agencies, not just government, but also nonprofit like Red Cross, Salvation Army, things of that nature.
Yeah, no doubt. And so many people just affected by this hurricane, not just in Louisiana, but Texas as well. Mark Naveau, we always appreciate you coming on and giving us your insight.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a good night, Christina.